Hello friend, this is your 50-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer, and now I will tell you how to use this machine step by step. First, when you receive this machine, you should connect to your factory power. You can open this panel. And you may check inside. Here are the L1, L2, L3 wire, the neutral wire and ground wire here. You should connect to these 5 wires. And also you may check here are the components, the Schneider, Delcy. And then you may check the other wires. We also mark the number inside it here. You may check. And then you should connect to your water source. Here we have a soft pipe, and you should equip the pipe like this one to let the tap water inside the jacket. And then you can see here we equip the well. If your pipe is also equipped the well, you should keep this well always open to let the water inside the jacket and let the water inside to like the cooling down the homogenizer. And the vacuum pump also needs water, so you should keep this well open all the time. And this well you can see is let the water come outside for the jacket. And you can see here we have a soft pipe too, and it's transparent. You also need the transparent pipe. Also, you may open this panel and you may check here inside. This is the vacuum pump for the vacuum function and the solenoid well here. You may check inside. And let's check here the tanks button. You can see here is the water inlet pipe to let the water inside the jacket. And then you can see here are valves here. When you need to let the water inside the jacket, you should keep this valve open. And then you may check here. Here is the valve to let the material discharge from here. And then you may check the transparent pipe here. And here, these 2 transparent pipes are, the function is to cooling down the homogenizer when the homogenizer is working. And then to the back side, you can see here are the pipes. These pipes is the water outlet pipe. If the water is come out from here, that means the jacket is full of water. Then this water come out. It will come out from here. And you may check downside. This one is the heating rod to use the heating function. And this is the temperature probe to detect the temperature inside the tank. And you may check the bottom homogenizer. We use the ABB brand. And then I will tell you how to use the heating function. First, you should connect to your water source and then let this valve open all the time. And then you should turn on this valve to let the water inside to the jacket. And then the water will come out through here. When the water comes out through here, it means that this tank's jacket is full of water. And then you can use the heating function. And you may turn off this valve. And then I will introduce the cover accessories. You may check here is the vacuum valve. When you want to use the vacuum function, first you should make sure all the other valves are closed, and then open this vacuum valve. And then open the vacuum function on the control panel. Okay, and then you may check here is the manhole. This manhole, you can use this to spin the scraper and then remove the water mist, and then check clearly inside the tanks. And then you may check here is the material inlets. We could use the soft pipe here. You can use this soft pipe to the water tank and oil tank to suck the materials inside it. And then you can let the materials inside to the main tank. And this one is the indigrant hopper. You can add some indigrants when inside the main tank when the tank is under the vacuum situation. And this is the breathing pod. You can use the breathing pod to release the vacuum, but first you should also make sure that other valves are closed. And this is the CIP spray ball. With that, later we can check inside, and then you can equip a soft pipe here to let the clean water inside the tank to clean the tank. And then this is the work glass slide, and you may open it and then you may check clearly inside the tank. And then you may check this. You can use this to dump the tank here, to tilting down the tank. And then you may check this is the oil tank and water tank. And then you may check this is the half open lid design. And then you may check inside the disperser here. You may check. And also go downside, you may check this is the disperser model here. We also use the ABV model. And then this is the temperature probe to detect the temperature of the water tank and oil tank. And then you may check here. We also equip the electric heating rod here. And then if you want to use the heating function, let the water inside the jacket, you can connect a pipe here. And the water might come out here and here if you use the water to let the water inside to the jacket. It's the same to the main tank, but if you add like heating transfer oil, it's different. And now we may check the control panel. You may see here is the emergency stop button. When anything goes wrong of this machine, you can spin this emergency stop button to stop the machine and then check where the machine needs to be maintenance. And then here are the warning alarm. If anything goes wrong, it will make loud noise. And when this tank hydraulic up and down, it will also make the noise to let you know. And this is the lighting for the work gas lights. It means here, now we turn on it. And then you may check the other parts. You can see here is the oil pot heating, the oil pot current, the water pot current, the main tank current, and the homogenizer current here of the 4 current display. And then you may check the temperature here. We have the oil pots, water pots, and the main tank. And this is the homogenizing time. You can spin this to change the timeline. Now is 5 minutes. Change the 10 minutes. You may change here. And then you may check this is the 4 emitters. This one is for the oil pot dispersing emitter and the water pot dispersing emitter. And the main pot emitter here. And then this is the main pot homogenizing emitter. This one is the missing emitter. Then you may check the buttons here. We have the hydraulic. This one is up. And this is the stop button when you need this hydraulic stop in the middle. And then this is the hydraulic down button. This is the heating button of the oil pot, start and stop. And the water pot, start and stop. And the main pot, start and stop. And the homogenizer function, starts and stop. And then let's see downside here is the oil pot missing, start or stop. The water pot missing, start or stop. And the main pot missing, start or stop. And for the vacuum, start and stop here. Okay, now we have introduced the control panel, and now we can test the machine function step by step. Okay, and now we can test the vacuum function first. When you use the vacuum function, make sure all the other valves are closed. You may check here now. The other valves are closed now. And then you may check the tank is correctly hydraulic down, and then you can use the vacuum function. When you use the vacuum function, first turn on the vacuum valve. And then turn on the control panels button here. You can check here. Now the pressure now is changing. And when this pressure is arrived to what you want, you may turn off it. Now we can turn off the vacuum. Now we can turn off the button first. And then we can turn off the vacuum well. And then now this tank is under the vacuum saturation. And now we can use this vacuum well. And now we can use this material inlet to suck the materials inside the main tank. You may check here. Okay, you may check inside. Okay. And then for the oil tank, you can also check, you can suck the materials inside to the main tank. And then when you finish the use, just need to turn off the well. Okay, and now we can test the release vacuum function. Now you can see the vacuum is like this, minus 81. And then when you release the vacuum, here, using the breathing pods, you should make sure all the other valves are closed. Closed. Here you may check it's closed. Closed. And then using these breathing pods, you may hear some sound. And then it means the vacuum is sucked out. You may check here. Here, now the vacuum pressure is changed. Then you can close the breathing pod. Okay, and now we can test the maintenance mixing function. First, you can open the mixing button, and then you may check here, mixing inventory, change the speed here. Not so fast. Here, and you may check here inside. Now the mixing function is working. And when you don't want to use it, you just close the mixing inventor first. Close it and then close the button here. And then we can test the hydraulic up function here. Just push it. Then you may hear the alarm noise is so loud. It means the tank is now hydraulic up to let you know. Okay, now the tank is totally hydraulic up. And now we can test the mixing function again, but make sure it will not too quick. Let's test it here. And then use the mixing inventory here. And you may check the speed now. A little fast. Here you may also check. And then you can turn off it. And now we can test the homogenizing function of the main tank. First, you should open the button of the homogenizer and then open the missing inventory here of the homogenizer. And you can check here. Homogenizing is working, and then if you don't want it, you can turn down to the low speed. Check the liquid. And then if you don't want to use the homogenizing function, you can just turn off it here and then turn off the homogenizing button. Also, you may check this is the homogenizing time. When you use the homogenizing function, you may set the time first. Like here, we can set the 5 minutes. And then when the time is on arrive to 5 minutes, the homogenizing, this function will stop automatically. Okay, and now we can test the heating function. First, I will tell you how to adjust the temperature of the thermometer. Here you may check we have the oil pots, water pots, and main pots. The free temperature here now is display the actual temperature, and if you want to set the temperature here, you may set, push it, and then this will display the setting temperature. You may change the temperature here, like the 50 degrees Celsius, then push it. And then this is the actual temperature, and now this is the setting temperature. And now you can use the main pot heating function, but make sure that this test jacket is full of water. And now we can test it. Open the main pot heating, and then you may see these currents is changing. And when this temperature is arrived to 50 degrees Celsius, like we just said, this heating function will turn off automatically. The water tank and oil tank is the same. But because now the heating function will need time to display, so we will not test it. Now we can turn off it. Now you can see the currents is changing. It's the same for the oil pots and water pots setting. But because now the oil pots and water pots, the jacket is without the water or the heating transfer oil, so we will not test these two heating functions. Okay, let's test the dumping function here. You can spin like our engineer doing. So the tank is tilting down. Then you may check. Okay, and then you can reset the main tank. And for this dumping function, you should always make sure that this is like this, and then this main tank is in the correct reset place. Then you can use the hydraulic dump function here. Otherwise, this tank will be damaged. Okay, and now we test the dumping function, and the main tank is in the correct reset place. And then we can use the hydraulic dump function. Let's test this hydraulic dump function here. It will also make the noise to alarm you that you are hydraulic down the main tank. You may check here. Always make sure that the tank is in the correct reset place. Okay, now it's correctly hydraulic down. Okay, and now we can test the water pots and oil pots dispersing function here. First, open the oil pots dispersing, and then open the oil pots inverter. Then you may check the dispersing function is working. And then if you don't want to use it, turn off the inverter, and then turn off the dispersing function for the oil tank. And you may check now the dispersing function is stopped. And then for the water pots, you may turn on the dispersing function, turn off the inverter, turn on the inverter. And you may check here. The dispersing function is working. And then if you don't want to use it, turn off the inverter first, here. And then turn off the water pots dispersing, okay? And then for the last thing, the lighting, you may check now is turned on. You can see the turn off it, and now this is turned off now. Then we can turn on it. You may check here. Okay, and this is the end of the 50-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer introduction. Thank you.